Okay, what's happening? Wait on that thing. Y'all can't see it, but I see it there. It should move. You alive. I know this thing is slow. I haven't did a yard screen in a live, and it's been a minute. You know? Yeah. Then finally the move. It's 25 seconds. Oh, let's see here. Let's see if I can set this down here without it. And I hope I can set it down. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna come back. I got to read something off since this is the Hebrew channel. I've been had these. Let me show them to you. These three books. These go hand in hand together. One of them is called Patriarchs and Prophets. No, Prophets and Kings. My bad. Prophets and Kings. And this one is the Desire of Ages. That's dealing with all ages. He wanted that is talking about the Black Messiah. This one is called, last but not least, for Patriarchs and Prophets. They both go together. Patriarch. A patriarch. What is a patriarch? Okay, let's look at it like that. Okay, let's look at it. I what is a patriarch? A patriarch. What is a patriarch? Patriotism. What is a patriarch? Hold on, wait a minute. What is a patriarch? Okay, something patriotism, or this is not the exact word I'm looking for, but it's patriarch patronism, or national a national pride is the feeling of love, devoted, and sense of attachment to a homeland and alliance with other citizens who share the same sentiment. Okay, people who share the same. That's going into the history of the Jew family. Okay, what defines a patriot? Wait a minute. They must all mean the same thing. One who loves and supports his or her country, praises him as a motivated patriot, patriot who was fearless in the quietness to preserve American security. This is somebody who is nation pride, is feeling love, devoted. Somebody that's love and is devoted to spiritual, uh for for to a spiritual cause for their biblical family, in that reason, and so on and so forth. Okay. They got all kinds of stories in here. Why was sin permitted? Now some of these things in here, people believe it. This was written by Ellen G. White, but Ellen G. White was, I think, there was a so-called white woman, but some of the things that she said or that she wrote, but I don't agree with everything the way the parables are written. People follow and believe a parable. You know what I mean? You can't take things literal because the Bible was written in parables and allegories and parables and things of that nature. Let's see, it was something very interesting I was reading in here today. Now, if I can find it, I'll read it. But if I can't find it, then it'll be my loss. Oh, this was in Patriarchs and Prophets. Okay. I think I highlighted it. Let's look at it and see. Let me see if I. It was dealing with the nation of Israel. Yeah. It was, don't worry about the, okay, here we go. Yeah, this is it. This was related to Babylon, America, and stuff like that. That's what it's actually going into when the Israelites was in captivity. A spiritual reveal. Esdras arrived in Jerusalem was opportunity. The opportunity there was great need of influence of his presence. His coming brought courage and hope to the hearts of many who had long labored under difficulties since the return of the first company of exile under the leadership of Zerubbabel and Joshua over 70 years before. Much had been accomplished. The temple had been finished, and the walls of the city had been partially repaired, yet much remained undone. Amongst those who had returned to Jerusalem in former years, there were many who had remained true to God as long as they lived, but a considered and considerable number of the children's children lost sight of the sacredness of God's law. That's what it's all about. And how many laws there are there? 113. Even some of the men entrusted with responsibilities were living in open sin. Their course was largely neutralize the efforts made by others to advance the cause of God for so long as a fragrant violation of fragrant fragrant violation of the law where were allowed to go un, unrebuked. The blessings of heaven could not rest upon the people. It was the providence of God that those who returned with Ezra and had a special season of seeking the Lord. The experience thought which they had just passed on their journey from Babylon unprotected as they had been by any human power and taught them a rich spiritual lesson. Many had grown strong in faith and as those mingling with the discouraged and in the indifferences in Jerusalem. Their influence was a powerful factor in the reform soon afterward ins- instituted. On the fourth day after the arrival, the treasures of silver and gold, the vessels for the service of the sanctuary, were delivered by the treasurers unto the hands of the temple, offerings in the presence of witnesses, and with the utmost excited to ex, 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 excited to. Every article was examined by number and by weight. Ezra chapter 8 and 34. The children of the captivity had returned with Ezra offering burnt offerings unto the God of Israel. That's who it was all about. For a sin offering as a token of their gratitude and thanksgiving for the protection of holy angels during the journey, and they delivered the king's commission unto kings uh, Latinites and to the governors on this side the river, and further fathered the people and the house of God. Verses 35 and 36. Very soon thereafter, a few of the chief men of Israel approached Ezra with a serious complaint. Some of the people of Israel and the priests and the Levites had so far disregarded the holy commands of Jehovah as to intermarry with the surrounding people. See, this is what this was all about. The Most High don't want us is to be surrounding ourselves and marrying the other nation. He wants us to stay within our nation. They have taken their daughters for themselves and for their sons. That means what it's saying is that they was intermingling with the heathens. This is what this was going into. Ezra was told so that their holy seed have mingled themselves with the people of the heathen land of the heathen lands. It says the holy, and the word holy just simply means to be separate. That's all the word holy means. Yet the hand of the prince and the rulers had been chief in the trespass. Ezra's chapter 9 verses 1 and 2. And his study of the case leading to the Babylonian captivity, Ezra's had learned that Israel's apostasy was largely traceable to their mingling with the heathen nations. That's what it was all about. They was mingling. The heathens is somebody who is not an Israelite. He had seen that if they had obeyed God's commandments, if they had obeyed God's commands to keep separated from the nations surrounding them, they would have been spared. They would have been spared many sad and humiliation experience. Now, when he learned that, notwithstanding the lessons of the past, men of prominence had dread transgressed the laws given as a safeguard against the apostasy. His heart was stirred within him. He thought of God's goodness and again given his people a foothold in their native land, and he was overwhelmed with righteous indignation and with grief at their ingratitude. When I heard this thing, he said, I rent my garments and my mantle and plucked off the hair of my head and of my beard and sat down astunned. So this is talking about him going into prayer, cleaning himself up, coming in reverence before the Most High. Then were assembled unto me everyone that trembled as the words of the God of Israel, because of the transgressions of those that had been carried away. And I sent a stone unto the evening sacrifice, verse 4. At the time of the evening sacrifice, Ezra arose and once more reading his garment and he fell upon his knees and unabandoned his prayer and to heaven, spreading out his hands unto the Lord. He exclaimed, "O my God, I am ashamed and blush to lift up my face to thee, O my God, for our iniquities are increased over our head, and our trespass is grown up unto the has grown up unto the heavens." That means that God's let's say the trespass is grown up unto heaven. Okay, that's going into the prayers and all that kind of stuff. It says, since the days of our fathers, the supplanted continued. We have been in great trespass unto this day, and for our iniquities have we our kings, our priests have been delivered unto the hand of the kings of the lands, to the sword, to captivity, and to a spoil, and to confession of faith, as it is this day. That means the one of the main thing, the reason why they was carried off into captivity, because they was mingling with the other nation. That's why you're not supposed to mess with somebody of your own nation. So I'm gonna stop it right there. I'm not gonna read too far, but I read from Patriarchs, page. I read from 1. chapter 51, verses 618, 620, all the way up to 600 and half of 621. That's why I read from Patriarchs and Prophets. This was written actually by like I said, I agree with this part, but when they talk about the devil and Satan being under the ground, that's a damn lie. So I said I'm gonna leave it at that, and hopefully this came out good. And I'm gonna see y'all later. Much love to my people of color, and I'm out. Let me end this.